Special pastoral concerns to the Supreme Court decision of the impeachment trials of Vice President Sara Duterte Carpio, today, July 25, 2025. Today is Friday dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and tomorrow is Memorial of the Blessed Virgin Mary, every Saturday dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Who wants to be impeached in our Philippine government? No one would like to be under the impeachment trials. This is the reason why we are called to act in humility and obedience under the rule of law. And it is lessons of the past, since we are guided by the rule of law of our Philippine Constitution. It is more better by the grace of God if everyone are with high respect to one another, and not to allow our personal sentiments or political ambition to abuse our power. Of course, since both our legitimate highest leaders won on May 9, 2022 in our national and local elections, as far as the unity of President Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Vice President Sara Duterte Carpio are concerned, to gain a majority votes of 31 and 32 million Filipinos who voted them both, with the prophecy 2022 in the Philippines. If there is nothing happened and the relationship are smooth to both our legitimate highest leaders, to PBBM and VPSARA, with a commitment of unifying power to bring the country to be united until to finish their terms of office for 6 years from 2023 to 2028, all of us will truly be happy, as we are one nation and one people, helping one another and to support one another in order to do our public service of not violating our rule of law, or even of not to abuse of power, like of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. Why our new evangelization through education to God's salvation about the law and grace as pastoral concerns to the decision of the Supreme Court to impeachment trials of VPSARA today, July 25, 2025, to the Feast of St. James Apostle? Why we can be enlightened, all of us, by the power of the Holy Spirit. First, what is the meaning of impeachment in the Philippines? Impeachment in the Philippines is an express power of the Congress of the Philippines to formally change a serving government official with an impeachable offense. After being impeached by the House of Representatives, the official is then in the Senate. But who are impeachable officials in the Philippines? In the Philippines, the following officials are subject to impeachment: the President, the Vice President, members of the Supreme Court, members of the Constitutional Commissions, Civil Service Commission, Commission on Elections, and Commission on Audit, and including the Ombudsman. These officials can be removed from office through impeachment proceedings for specific offenses outlined in the Constitution. What is the purpose of impeachment? Impeachment is a constitutional remedy addressed to serious offenses against the system of government. It is the first step in a remedial process, that of removal from public office and possible disqualification from holding further office. Who decides impeachment? The House of Representatives brings articles, charges of impeachment against an official. Learn more about the House rule or role in impeachment, to what happened to our former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, late Renato Corona. The Senate convened as an impeachment court on January 16, 2012, and no one support and help him, Chief Justice Corona, from the members of the Supreme Court of the Justices, because it was the President Noynoy Aquino at that time who is behind to the impeachment trials to remove Chief Justice Corona in office. What power does the Supreme Court have in the Philippines? Has the exclusive power to promulgate rules concerning the protection and enforcement of constitutional rights, pleading, practice, and procedures in all courts, the admission of the law, the integrated bar, and legal assistance to the unprivileged. And now, as pastoral concerns to be enlightened by the power of the Holy Spirit, to the decision of the Supreme Court, who has the sole power to try and decide an impeachment case. The Senate. Impeachment is a constitutional process that takes place within the political departments of our government. The House of Representatives accuses, and the Senate, sitting as an impeachment court, decides. So the Supreme Court's review is limited to ensuring that the House and Senate have acts within the bounds of the Constitution. The court cannot substitute its judgment for that of the legislative branch on the matters of the case. So let us all pray to one another and be enlightened by the power of the Holy Spirit, that it is truly the House of Representatives has the sole power to initiate impeachment proceedings, and this is a political act, and the Constitution grants the House the discretion to decide when and where to impeach. Amen.